Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Unions are accusing the state government of creeping towards a privatisation of the state's GBEs following major reforms outlined by the Premier yesterday. They're fearing it could lead to job losses, but the Liberals say they're jumping to conclusions.
As the government looks to rebuild its state-owned businesses, the prospect of a big shake-up is rattling Tasmania's unions.
This is a privatisation plan. This is a blueprint for selling off important assets in Tasmania.
One option is to potentially sell off GBEs, which is currently subject to public feedback until next month. But it's left the public sector workforce fearing the worst.
It's workers here who are often being thrown to the scrap heap who will now have very real concerns about what this means for their future as well.
Labor believes Tasmanians will pay the price if they end up in private hands.
There are many examples where users pay more and services are reduced.
According to the government, it's all a scare campaign.
We've got these theories being espoused by the union movement in lockstep with Labor. We are looking to ensure that we reform the GBEs so that they perform and function for the very best outcomes.
Adamant there won't be any shortage in infrastructure jobs across the Apple Isle.
We've got $5.1 billion worth of work coming up in Tasmania. That's a massive amount of work to keep a lot of Tasmanians employed.
Unions Tasmania argues other ways to improve government businesses should be looked at instead.
We actually think they will save money by investing in their public services.
This review is open. It is for the people to have an input into, especially the stakeholders.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
There are calls for Tasmania's major political parties to come clean over potential donations from the gambling industry over the past 18 months. It's as reforms to pokies regulation continue to raise eyebrows.
Announced in 2022, nation-leading pokey reforms were supposed to land in Tasmania this year. But as the mandatory pre-commitment card, which would limit how much a person can lose, face another review, the Greens want to know why and whether the government's had a change of heart.
Just tell Tasmanians, be honest.
Demanding any political donations received from the gambling industry in the past year and a half be brought to light over concerns decisions are being influenced by contributions to both major parties.
Tasmanians are in the dark about where the money is flowing from to support the Liberal and Labor parties and to potentially influence them.
Both questioned today.
So did you get any money from the hospitality industry or the gaming industry?
We disclose all of our donations according to the law, but we want to see improvements.
All of these things are put onto the public record if they're over a particular threshold.
The impact of introducing a mandatory pokey card is currently being reviewed by Deloitte, but that's prompted fears it won't happen at all. So far, the Tasmanian Hospitality Association's remained quiet following an op-ed in the Mercury last week by former Treasurer Michael Ferguson, who accused the THA of attempting to discredit the pokey reform. The Liberal Party was contacted for comment. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A teenage dirt bike rider has been airlifted to the Royal Hobart Hospital with serious injuries following a crash on the state's west coast. The 16-year-old was reportedly riding along 4 Mile Beach near Granville Harbour yesterday when he came off his bike. Emergency services, including the Westpac rescue helicopter, were called to the scene. It's understood the rider was wearing a helmet at the time. Investigations are still underway. Traditionally, our tourism drives target interstate and international visitors, but a new campaign is looking to do the opposite. The summer push instead putting Tasmanians at the centre of attention, encouraging us to holiday at home.
Taking a staycation to new heights. Tourism Tasmania wants you to explore your own backyard.
Encouraging Tasmanians to get out there, explore Tasmania and eat, drink, stay, play here in the state.
Its new campaign is focusing on intra-state travel, encouraging locals to stay around this summer and see more of the island they call home.
There's lots of new products and experiences that are on offer that you haven't encountered before, and this campaign is all about unlocking those.
And it has some Olympic superstar power behind it.
Wow, I think it's better than Queensland Sand. It's not probably as cold as I thought it would be. I actually can't believe I've never been here.
Tasmanian-born gold medalist Ariane Titmus diving into the push.
We are following her around Tasmania, where she's experiencing some of her favourite things to see and do.
With Tasmanians already contributing $1.9 billion to the visitor economy each year, it's hoped this latest drive will give local operators added confidence and an extra cash splash.
Employ local people in regional areas is incredibly important, and Tasmanians form the backbone of this because they ensure that we can operate all year round.
The campaign's not the only big-ticket item looking to drum up business. The state government is reviving its popular voucher scheme, giving $100 to 100,000 people to spend on local experiences.
Supporting Tasmanians and making it more cost-effective to get around, rather than jumping on a plane, jump on a pennycop boat and see the best things that our state has to offer.
Making your next trip a holiday at home. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Christmas is the busiest time of year for Tasmanian posties, making them prime targets for dog attacks. Australia Post is urging dog owners and councils to enforce stricter measures to protect their workers, with new data revealing around 10 dog attacks occur each day nationwide.
Don't be fooled by the wagging tail. This dog doesn't want to give a friendly lick, it wants to bite. A man's best friend, but a postie's worst enemy.
I was delivering mail on my motorbike, and then dog attacked me, come up to me, bite my leg.
1,200 dog attacks have been reported across the country in the last 6 months. That's around 49 posties attacked each week, with Tasmanian workers also falling victim.
Tasmania recorded 22 incidents in the last 6 months, which was a 37% increase on the first half of the year.
Launceston, Burnie and Rokeby once again emerging as hotspots, and while some of these dogs may be small, they're not willing to give up.
Dogs are naturally wired to protect their territory from strangers.
Posties increasingly having to weigh up their risks.
My injury was bad. Large hole in my foot, operation and skin graft in foot.
Australia Post says attacks most commonly occur on customer properties, with around 30% on the doorsteps and 15% to and from the door. Concern only growing as the festive season draws closer.
We head into the cyber sales and the Christmas period, and that means more of our people are exposed to dogs when they're knocking on doors and delivering parcels.
Australia Post says they'll work with local councils to adopt stricter measures to protect workers, but say simple steps can be taken by owners.
Keep your dog secured, either behind a fence or in another room. If it's not safe for us to enter your property, please put lots of signage.
Hobart Council says it takes dog-related incidents very seriously and work closely with postal workers to ensure their safety. Rebecca Gaidaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
An art event to raise awareness about environmental sustainability showcases this weekend outside the QV Mag. Remade is an annual sustainable wearable art event hosted by Interweave Arts.
And you keep saying that you'll never get burned.
The final try-on before hitting the runway this weekend. Artists wearing costumes made from recycled, upcycled and repurposed materials.
Well, the thing about Remade is that our ethos is reusing things. So some of the things are gifted to the studio, which is wonderful. You know, people that have something of value, a lovely fabric or some fake flowers, yes? These fake flowers on my crinoline came from Launceston players.
Remade will see more than 100 designers and models showcasing their wearable art. The fashion parade is sure to turn heads.
It's totally amazing, and a lot of our outfits have been recycled. We have an artist that has been using the black egg cartons, and they will be totally transformed into the Katrinas this year.
Well, on Friday evening, a special meet and greet with creatives will be held, providing an opportunity to be inspired by those behind the fashions. with the flying dragon of dreams lighting up the night sky.
We're going to put some fairy lights in tonight and spread the wings and open the tail out, and so she'll become the fully flying the flying dragon of dreams.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
If you're watching tomorrow's Melbourne Cup, keep an eye out for the Tassie connection. Aptly named The Map, she's one of just 3 Australian runners in the big race and looking to break a 5-decade Tasmanian drought.
November 1972, the last time a Tasmanian-bred horse claimed the Cup.
Piping Lane has won the money. A boil over. Piping Lane first, Magnifique second.
Since then, Tassie's best performer was in 1985. Third place for Tripsicum, bred at Carrick's Armidale stud. Tomorrow, 6-year-old mare The Map is running the great race, also out of Armidale. Sire Alpine Eagle seems proud as punch, heirs of the breeders.
We're still pinching ourselves, to be honest. It's hard to believe we're heading off to Flemington tomorrow for the biggest day's racing in Australia, with a horse going round, not only representing our stud and carrying our stud's brand, but probably representing Tassie.
Sold at Magic Millions to South Australian trainers Dan Clarkin and Oppie McGilvray for $35,000, it's now owned by a group of graziers and publicans. After winning its slot in the Andrew Ramsden Stakes.
And The Map gets up on the outside to win. It'll be here on the first Tuesday.
Running in the $8 million race is a rags to riches story. Loaded onto the float yesterday for the drive to Melbourne, she'll need to draw on her underdog status. Not only do mares rarely win, but she's drawn the second widest gate.
She's a horse that goes back and takes her time to get into the run, so it could have been worse.
Probably a bit different for me, Nick. I would have liked to have been in the middle. Makes life a bit easier, but anyway, you can't pick your barriers.
Tasmania breeds just 2% of Aussie horses, of which there are just 3 in the field of 24. So this race is a big deal for Armidale stud. She's won the Macca's run on Cup Day last year and hits the track tomorrow in solid form.
To have a horse bred here in Tassie by a $4,000 stallion that the Tasmanian breeding industry have got access to every day of the year, I think is a huge cue, and I'm certain she'll be the people's horse tomorrow.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News. There hasn't been a hat-trick in the Sheffield Shield for 5 years. That is, until today. WA quick Brodie Cooch ripping through the Tigers' lower order.
And he's got it. He's got the hat-trick. Couch has got a hat-trick. Elliott's gone. History at Ninja Stadium.
Tasmania all out for just 98 on the final day, leaving the reigning premiers to win by an innings and 45 runs. Meanwhile, there's some bad news for the Canes as Hayley Silver-Holmes is sent for surgery on an injured shoulder. She's carried it through the opening WNCL games, but it became too much during the spring challenge. The operation and resulting rehab means she'll miss the entirety of the WBBL season.
Good evening. Hobart and Burnie recorded 19 today. Launceston and Friendly Beach is our top around the state with 21 degrees, and Devonport 20. St Helens 20 as well. Bushy Park 19. Smithton and Grove 18 degrees. Low Head in the Islands 17, while Strawn reached 16. There were areas of low cloud that crossed the state today in the wake of the cold front, which passed quickly in the strong winds this morning. Scattered thunderstorms are through central Australia and the mid-coast of New South Wales. More cloud to the southeast of the continent, and some isolated convective cloud is over the tropics. Tomorrow, a high over the Tasman Sea extends a ridge over southern Australia. A pair of troughs spread over a large area of the mainland as a cold front crosses southwest WA. West-northwest winds at 15 to 25 knots. They'll tend north-northwesterly later on in the day. But before that, we have a strong wind warning that's been posted for waters between St Helens Point and Wineglass Bay. Forecast for tomorrow, mostly sunny in Hobart, 22 the top, partly cloudy for Adventure Bay, 19. Tarraleah, a top of 20, a cool start. Launceston 21, a mostly sunny, partly cloudy in Devonport, 17 the maximum, 17 also for Bridport. And Burnie tomorrow expecting 17 as well. Strawn partly cloudy, 18 the maximum. Marrawar, bit of cloud about but 17 the top. 21 for St Helens and sunny, same for Swansea, and 18 the high for Whitemark. On Wednesday, mostly fine apart from showers over the west and later the south. Fine over the north and northwest on Thursday, a possible shower elsewhere. And on Friday looks like showers all over, contracting to the west in the afternoon. A shower on the way for Perth and Adelaide tomorrow, a sunny 26 in Melbourne, a possible shower for Sydney, partly cloudy and 32 in Brisbane, and a scorcher for Alice Springs. Fine at the moment, 15 in Hobart, 18 in Launceston, Devonport 16 degrees. Yes, I hope the map does well in the Cup tomorrow, Kim, for the Tasmanian connections. But write this down, I've gone for number 1, Vauban, to win from number 13, One Smooth Operator.
As if we rely on your tips anyway, Merv. Well, finally tonight, a curious echidna has found itself in a prickly situation. The adventurous climber caught on camera scaling a fence near Snug, finding out the hard way sometimes it's best to keep your feet on the ground. It did eventually complete the challenge and continued on its happy way. And not hurt in that as well. That is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.